Hello and welcome to another Whoosh video breakdown. Today we are featuring a look at the Mezco Toyz Dark Knight Returns Batman action figure from their 112 Collective series. Since this is an all-new action figure line from Mezco, we wanted to provide you with some video of the action figure's articulation scheme as well as the range of movement capabilities, in addition to our standard written reviews that are featured on the front page of thewhoosh.com. So to begin, a quick breakdown of the actual points of articulation that this figure features. He has a ball jointed head as well as a swivel neck, as well as ball jointed shoulders and bicep swivels. He has double elbows as well as wrist hinges and turns. He features a kind of the floating rib cage joint that allows him back and forth and side to side movement. He has what seems to be a slightly altered ball joint hip, so it does pin to the top of the leg the way that a standard ball joint does, but it features a thigh cut that is a little bit lower than where a standard ball joint would be. He has double knees, so one at the top and one at the bottom for joints. Boot swivels, as well as rocker ankles and back and forth. So as you can see, this figure, even for being I guess a clothed 112 scale action figure, he does feature all of the standard points of articulation that we have come to associate with a superposable figure. Now, the range of movement has been a question, I think, for a lot of collectors, since this is a new execution where there is a fully functioning action figure that is underneath a cloth costume. This is something that is relatively new as far as the 112 or 6-inch scale goes. It's been attempted in the past, but there has been some varying degrees of success. But Mezco has really stepped up the game when it comes to this. As you can hopefully see, the cloth costume provides very little in terms of restrictions to this action figure's ability to pose. All of the joints have a little bit of a snap to them, so it helps keep them strong. I took several photos for the actual written review and put him through his paces as far as posing goes, and all of his joints remain strong. Now, that being said, these joints do allow for a lot of very fluid posing. So it's not like you get him clicked into one position and he won't hold a pose until you hit the next one. It's all fluid through the entire range of the joint. So some of the highlights that this Batman can feature is, the ability to strike a crouching pose fairly easily. He can, of course, bend his knee fully all the way up to so that his boot can actually touch the back of his thigh. So that will help feature in, jumping poses or diving poses. He can hit, fighting poses. This is the Dark Knight Returns Batman after all. So, you'll want him to be able to brawl with the best of them as far as your action figures go. So he can get those poses and he can hold them very well. This for being a 112 scale action figure, he's actually very heavy. But the good part is that he has a very low center of gravity. So as you're putting him in different poses, his upper body mass isn't going to weigh so much that it's going to tip the figure over as you attempt to put him in different poses that you might want to feature Batman in. Back and forth as far as his rib cage articulation goes is pretty uninhibited. Just in comparison to something like a Marvel Legend figure, he can pretty much reach the same range as any of those figures. It is a floating joint there as well, but as you can see, Bats has no problem holding those poses when you move them when you move him into them. So not only is the range fluid and it is uninhibited, but he also has a great ability to hold those poses once you put him in there. So that's it as far as the breakdown of the articulation goes. I personally look to myself as being quite a stickler when it comes to articulation in action figures, and I have to say that I am quite pleased with this figure's not only its points of articulation, but the usefulness and meaningful ways that the articulation works so that the figure can be very, very dynamic. So be sure to check out the full review of this figure at thefwoosh.com. Leave us a comment below. Like us, subscribe, and we will continue to feature these video breakdowns on future Mezco 112 collection action or 112 collective action figures as they're released to market. So in the meantime, keep on fwooshing and be on the lookout for this brand new Dark Knight Returns Batman. He's not going to disappoint.